Mike, if you warmed up from the spring the spring game at Penn State, it's had a little bit of snow, a little bit of what else? Sleet. Quite a blue.
The motto for Saturday in terms of the weather was, "If you don't like it, wait a minute," because it changed, baby.
Yeah, you had some.
We saw some sleet up there, and then we saw some 75-degree sunshine.
Did you see any good football?
Not much.
Okay.
Not much. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
It was, and you know, I think Bill O'Brien has this point system, so it's not really a football game. I think it's very hard. I think that hurts it a little bit. It's very hard for people to even understand what's going on, and but you know, very little was. I don't think much was revealed on Saturday.
Yeah, it reminds me of like a Harry Potter movie where the games they're playing, you sometimes say, "Oh, award this many points to Dorp," or whatever that's called, and you're going, "How did you get points for that?" Oh, you know.
Yeah, I'm with you. Writing.
Who has the lead at quarterback? That's what I really want to worry about. We're worried about Harry Potter.
I honestly don't have any idea. I think that if I really want to crunch it a little bit, I would say maybe Stephen Bench looks like he might have a little bit better grasp of the offense and is a little more mobile. Well, he should have better grasp of the offense. He's been there a year, and the other kid just got there. And I think Ferguson might have a bigger arm. There were a couple times when he fit some balls in some space, some tight spots on Saturday. I thought he looked early. He looked very slow, not just physically in terms of his mobility, but slow to react, slow to make decisions and things like that. But I thought he got better as the game wore on. But really, I think it's a dead heat. And in fact, I think it's a dead heat, and I suspect that it's not even a race yet because the third guy in the race isn't there yet.
Well, that's Christian Hackenberg, who's still he's signed. He's one of the best quarterbacks coming out of high school. But I keep thinking they agreed to let him redshirt a year, so he has 2 years of bowl eligibility. But I guess if he's that clear cut,
I don't know. I'm sure they talked about it. I don't think it's an ironclad thing. I mean, I don't think he's going to complain about if he gets to play. But I mean, I just it seems to me like Matt McGloin emerged last year pretty early on in the process. I don't know if anybody is even close to that right now.
Okay, let's talk some other positions.
Yeah.
Running back. Bill Belton did not play. What, toe injury you're telling me?
Toe injury, my friend.
But Lynch did.
Akeel Lynch played and looked very good, and I think he has a chance. He's a guy who I think was highly regarded. I think the coaches sort of talked about him last year, even though he was redshirted, and I think he's going to be a big deal. And Zach Zwinak got hurt very early in this scrimmage. I think broke or injured his hand, and he banged it on a helmet. And he's a guy who ran for 1,000 yards last year, basically in 9 games, because he really didn't play the first couple games. So they're in good shape. I think they're in good shape at all the offensive skill positions. They have receivers, they have a ton of tight ends, and their offensive line is at least, I think they know who the 5 are probably going to be. So that means there's a cohesiveness factor with the offensive line. They have to play together a little bit, so they have an opportunity for that going forward. So they're in good shape offensively if they can figure out this quarterback thing.
Just a quick comment on offensive line. Wow, they're cohesive already. Usually it takes, like I said,
a radical new concept, Starkey.
3 years, they struggle.
Yeah.
Darren Thompson, running back. I don't want to go off that too soon.
Warwick High School. He had a terrific day on Saturday. Ran for
80-some yards.
And had a 41-yard run. He's probably their 4th string guy, but if Zwinak is hurt, and who knows what's going to happen with Belton.
To transfer.
It could be. He could end up returning kicks.
Zwinak was a 3rd string last year before he got.
That's correct. Yeah. But I mean, at least he was a scholarship player. I mean, Thompson is a walk-on. It would be an upset if he ever gets on the field for a significant amount of time at tailback. He played some last year in special teams. He returned kicks in the blue-white game last year. I think that's still a possibility for him.
That's pretty cool. Other positions. I want to go back to offensive line for another second. Center. You asked us to watch that position. How did that center do?
It's going to be Ty Howell is apparently going to be the center. He will be replacing Matt Stankiewicz, who was a very, very good center, and I think that's an underrated position. Yeah. That's one of the most important positions on the field. So there's going to be a drop off there. But Howell, I think is a solid guy that they talk very positively about him, and he certainly didn't. I thought the wide guys hurt him more. The defense had a very good pass rush on Saturday, for whatever that's worth. You don't really sack the quarterback in the blue-white game, but the interior seemed okay to me.
Defensively, anybody stand out to you?
Yeah, this kid named Austin Johnson, who is a defensive lineman. I think he's going to. They have a hole there. He's a defensive tackle, and he will be, I think, kind of replacing Jordan Hill. He's not going to be as good as Jordan Hill, but I think they're okay there. To lose a guy like that and plug this redshirt freshman in, I think they're okay there.
It's funny, not as good as Jordan Hill. Before we'd say, well, that person's not as good as Audric, or not as good as
pretty good tradition there,
and tradition.
Yeah, and pretty good tradition there. And part of that is the coach, Larry Johnson, who you think will put somehow patch something together.